everybody, my name is Corey. Welcome to some at-home prenatal yoga. So just a few things before we get started. The good thing about being at home is that you can use any props that you have. So as you can see, pretty much the only real yoga prop I have is a bolster here. But if you don't have a bolster, I use my giant pillow all the time. I have smaller pillows as well, or even just your regular bed pillows. So just make sure you go grab a couple of props in case you need them. I do have a yoga mat down here, but again, not necessary. I just find it helps cushion my knees a little bit. And then if you have a chair handy, maybe bring that nearby. I'm actually going to be using the edge of my couch because for me it's like the perfect height. You can always have something up higher, or maybe you don't need it. Today I will show you modifications using the chair though, and then if you know your body and you know it feels good, by all means you can do that. I also have my lovely cat here who's joined us, Marley. So just take a moment and, oh, and I forgot to mention, I also will have a playlist linked of music for Spotify. So if you want to have that playing in the background for you, you can go ahead. I don't have any music playing right now. So, can you stop? Just find yourself in a comfortable seat. For me right now, sitting on my bottom, on the bolster or pillow, legs crossed is pretty comfortable. But maybe you'd want the bolster in between your legs and your knees are hugging it. Maybe you're on the floor, maybe you need to sit up higher. Just find a comfortable seat because we're going to be here for a few moments. And then just bring your hands to your thighs. And just take a few deep breaths. Just kind of let go of the day. And then maybe you bring your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your belly. Right hand surrounding your baby. And if it feels comfortable for you for a moment, close your eyes. And just continue breathing. Maybe you start to notice your body and you start to notice just how it feels. Notice any sensations. Maybe you notice your seat connecting with your bolster or your pillow. So that space in between your sit bones is actually where your pelvic floor, the bottom of your pelvic floor is. Maybe you feel that. And then on your next inhale, you're going to take a big inhale. Feel your ribs expand. Feel your ribs come out to the sides. Maybe the backside body moves as well. And just notice how that feels. Another inhale, maybe you send breath to baby, into your belly. Continue taking longer inhales and longer exhales. The most amazing thing about our breath is that it's actually all in this top part of our body, so our torso. So right from our pelvic floor all the way up to our collarbones. And that's why we take a moment to connect in with our breath, because we actually have so much space to breathe. And I know maybe it doesn't feel like it right now with belly and baby and everything shifting, but that's even more of a reason to connect in, just to notice what your breath feels like right now. Is it different? Continue taking some deeper breaths. And then you bring your arms down to your thighs. And then we'll move our arms a little bit with our breath. So on the inhale, your arms come up. Exhale down through the center. Again, feel that expansion in your back, in your ribs. Maybe it's creating some more space. And again. Hands back down to your thighs and just take a few neck rolls. The beautiful thing about yoga is that everything is a posture. Everything matters. Every movement, every not movement, every transition. It's really just about connecting in with your body. And then we'll move through the 6 movements of the spine. Warm up your spine. Again, start connecting in a little deeper. Hands remain on your thighs, and you're going to do cat-cows from a seated position. So round through your spine, tuck your head, your neck, your chin, cat and cow. Stack your spine up, maybe your chin lifts up towards the ceiling, your shoulders really drop. Round through your spine, maybe you can even feel your pelvis moving a little bit in that. And then up through cow, stacking your spine, maybe a slight back bend, you feel your shoulders drop, rounding the opposite way through your spine. And another one. Then you bring your left hand down beside you, right hand up to the sky, and then reach over, feeling a stretch through your right side body. Other side. And again. And as we move through side to side movements, just remember it's about how it feels for you, not how it looks. So your sides are allowed to be different. Back to center. And then just take a gentle twist. So twist to the left first. Not pulling on your spine, just allowing it gently to go where it wants to. And again, left side. Right side. And then if you're seated on a bolster, you can stay there, or maybe you come off of it. Half butterfly, so I've got my left foot in. You can tuck it in by your knee or in your thigh, just depending on your movement. Right leg goes out to the side. Then you're going to come forward to your left knee, just gently. So my hands reach the floor. That feels good. And if not, you can come just to your knee, and you gently make a half circle in front of you. Round to the other leg, and back through the center to the other side. And do that again, and if you find a sticky spot, you can stop for a moment. You feel like maybe just some more tension or sensation. And then switch sides. And just remember, as you're transitioning side to side or posture to posture, we're going to go nice and slow, allowing the transition to be a posture itself. Again, coming forward to the bent knee, through the middle, to the other leg, around through center again, to your knee, and one more time. don't forget to stay hydrated. And then we'll come to a wide leg forward fold. So legs come out like this. Again, you can always sit on a bolster or a pillow, especially if you really feel like you're tipping back. And if that doesn't help, that's okay. I can also show you it this way. Let's do a bit of an angle. Because here I can kind of lean forward a little bit. But we're actually going to just use this as a bit of a rest. So I have a bolster here. I can put my forehead or my chin on. I also have my nice big fluffy pillow. I can just rest on, so even that is good. Then you just want to take a moment. And remember, if this is your posture still, that's okay too. Just start to notice your inner thighs. We're going to move into some more inner thigh work. And just allow the pause there. Maybe connect again to that deep breath. Invite your baby to join your practice. Invite your baby to just be present. Enjoy this moment with you. And then when you're ready, you're going to come onto all fours. Tuck your toes underneath you. Moving into toe stand. So then you're just going to slowly walk back. And maybe this is your posture. Maybe it's here. Maybe you can sit back. Just remembering that the point of this posture is a bit of sensation. It may be uncomfortable. Just see what you can do with it. Connecting with your breath again. And then when you're ready, come forward and just gently release your toes. Our feet are sometimes super neglected, and so it can feel good to give them a little bit of love. Then we're moving to cat-cows again, this time on hands and knees. So there's a few options. Maybe you stay here, especially if you're really nauseous or dizzy. That's where the chair or your props really come in handy. Maybe you can come down. Traditional cat-cow. I'll show us from here today. This is something that I kind of need too. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Then you're going to take cat. So again, round through your spine. Cow. Drop your belly. Pelvis tilts up. Drop your shoulders. Maybe your neck extends. And then round. Just notice how that feels. Does it feel any different than when you were doing it in seated? Take a couple of these. Nice and slow, even if you think it's just a super small movement. And then you want to bring your hips into the movement. Maybe it's just this, some hip circles, pushing your glutes towards your heels. Maybe it's really dropping, just depending what you have access to. Forward and back, or you can just keep doing cat-cow. And then we'll move into a little sequence. So I'll show you from side and from front view. So from here or here, bring your left leg out to the side, straight out beside your hip, all four corners of your foot ground down. This is an adductor stretch, so inner thigh stretch. Sit your bum back towards your right heel, and then slightly shift over towards your outstretched foot. Maybe you hold there. Maybe you can rock back and forth a little bit till you find a juicy spot. So your inner thigh. Where does it feel good? So like this. One more breath. Then we'll move into side plank. So that left leg now goes straight behind you. So left foot in line with right knee. Left hand moves towards your left hip. So your right hand is grounded down. Now just take a moment to see if you're dipping at all on your right side or your right shoulder. If you are, maybe you stay here, maybe you come up to your prop. This is still plank. Maybe it feels fabulous when you open your left arm. Take a moment here. Left hand comes down to the ground. Now your left leg is going to come up towards your left hand. So off your mat, out to the outside of it. And maybe you can come up to your hips. I'll show you this way, like this. And then you're going to take your left hand to the inside of your thigh and just gently open it up again. Beautiful stretch for your inner thigh. Often when we're pregnant, everything in the core basically becomes tight. So our hips, our glutes, inner thighs, as everything shifts and makes space for baby. You can add movement if it feels good. And then you'll come down. And I encourage you to try this with your prop if you've never tried it before. We'll take a child's pose. So if you have a couch, maybe you don't need an extra prop. If you don't, if you're using a chair, maybe you bring your pillow onto your chair. Toes come together, knees wide. You can also always have a prop underneath your bum too. And that feels actually really, really good. And then you're just going to come forward onto your prop. Arms can either be right forward or maybe they're crossed and forehead rests in your arms. Moving into a child's pose, but it's elevated. And this can feel really supported, and we're just going to take a mini rest here. Again, connect inside, in with yourself, in with your body, in with your baby. Deep breath in, side out. And we'll move to the other side doing the sequence again. So if you have a chair, you probably don't have to shift. Since I don't, I'm going to shift and kind of show you another way to prop. She'll use this other one. Sometimes doing hands and knee positions can really hurt our wrists. So if you're starting to feel some tension in your wrist, placing a prop underneath your hands can really help. It just cushions it. So this time you're going to bring your right leg out to the side, all four corners of your foot ground down. Again, bum pushes back towards heel, maybe a little bit towards the outstretched leg, and then come forward. Trying to untuck your pelvis here. So not this position, keep it untucked. That allows you to get into your inner thigh, your adductor. Maybe you do some movement, kind of like those hip circles we did at the beginning. Maybe you just hold still. And then side plank, you bring your right leg straight behind you. Right hand, come to your hip. Again, noticing if you're tucking, dipping into your left side body. And then right hand, if it feels good, safe, secure, stable, can come up towards the sky. Again, you can always do this on your prop. So your left hand is on your chair. Especially again, if you're feeling nauseous or dizzy, you can come up a bit. So from our side plank, right hand comes down towards the ground. Right foot goes to the outside of your right hand. Again, hands can be on a prop. Maybe they come up to your hip. Take a moment to settle here, and then you can open up your hip. Resting gently in the inner thigh, but avoiding your knee. And again, you can move a little bit. Maybe your leg goes more out towards the side, depending on how much space you need. Take a few breaths here. And then come back to your child's pose. On your prop. And knees wide, feet together. Resting down. Take a few breaths. Connect back in. Notice where your breath is. Deep breath in, sigh it out. From child's pose, if you have a prop underneath your bum, remove it. If you have one underneath your arms, remove it. Going to press into downward facing dog, but we'll keep this modified. So, toes tuck, hands are on your prop, and push up, bum towards the ceiling. You might need to bring your legs back a little bit. A good place to start for us is actually about mat distance apart. So think of the downward facing dog shape. Bum is up towards the ceiling, and you can press down with your chest as long as you're not dizzy or nauseous. Maybe your head moves a bit between your hands. You can play with space between your legs, so closer together, maybe a lot wider apart. You can play with the movement in your feet, so come up on your toes, push back onto your heels, bring your toes up. That can feel really good, especially our calves get super, super tight. Sometimes I like to press one leg behind the other, allowing more weight to go into the calf. Just take another breath here. And we'll take some side to side lunges. So again, you can use your prop. If you're feeling a bit tired, left leg comes out to the side. Bend into your left knee. So you're doing this. You can use your prop. If you're feeling stable, you can always come up. And so wherever you are, standing or with your prop, you press into your left. For a few breaths, nice and slowly transition into your right side. For, a few breaths. And then take another one, maybe do a little bit quicker, one breath. One breath. Again, beautiful for your adductors, even into your glutes here. And then we're going to meet each other in standing posture called Tadasana or mountain. Here. And take a beautiful moment of rest, and we'll build Tadasana. Before we start to move back down towards our mats. So feet, hip distance, maybe slightly wider. And again, you'll notice, so see where your feet are. Is your weight on your toes? Can you move your weight back a little bit, maybe more towards your heels? Notice where your pelvis is. So right now mine is really untucked, pushing towards the back. Or are you tucked right in? You want a neutral pelvis. So feel your pelvis in line. Not swaying too much either way. So hips stacked over knees, over feet. And feel your shoulders stack over your hips. So maybe you need to give them a nice roll back, drop down. Maybe you need to expand your chest up a little bit. We tend to really do this, especially if you really haven't been feeling well. Straighten up, drop your shoulders, and it can feel really like you're pushing your chest out, but you're not. Just ever so slightly roll your shoulders back, chest up, hands by your side. Take a deep breath in, sigh it out. This is really just about building posture for every day. And again, inhale, hands come up towards the sky. Exhale through heart center. Inhale, hands come up towards the sky. Exhale for heart center. Now let's start going back down towards our mats. So we're going to take goddess pose. So depending on how you feel, maybe your feet step wide, toes pointed out at a 45-degree angle. And here's your goddess pose. But you have options. So if you're really starting to feel fatigued, or maybe you have a lot of pelvic pain, you can use your chair, your prop. So you come into goddess pose and gently rest. You can either sit on your prop, or maybe you just gently feel it there on your thighs. Any option is great. So come into goddess. And again, as you come down, arms come up. Exhale, up, hands come through center. Keeping with our theme, inhale up. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Take one more. Maybe it's the deepest one you've done yet. Exhale. And then using your prop, you're going to sit down. Left foot comes over right thigh. Flex your toes, moving into figure 4. Again, left hand to inner, left thigh, avoiding your left knee, and just gently push down. This is a beautiful stretch for the glutes. Modifying it this way takes some pressure out of your abdomen and your core, allowing it just to be in your glutes. Once you've had a few moments there, you can switch sides. All my creaks and crackles, that's good. A few breaths here. And then on your own time, nice and slowly, purposeful movements, you're coming down back to your mat. Moving into something called deer pose. And as you come down, make sure you have a prop near you. So again, pillow, bolster, whatever you've got. So I'll show you my bolster just because I have it and I like it. But again, you can use a pillow. Now, left leg comes in front of you, 90-degree angle, and your right leg bends behind. This shape can take many forms. This is what mine feels like today. And we're going to go back to that movement we did at the beginning, where you come forward towards your bent knee. And then you move through a half circle towards the other side, and back through center. I really like this movement because it's a very gentle way to release your lower back. And it allows you to have quite a bit of control over speed. And if you find a sticky spot, again, you can hold out there, hang out there for a moment. And then we'll take a mini rest here. So as long as it's accessible to you, you're going to bring to switch my position, can I show you here? So there's a few options. Bring your bolster, your pillow to your left hip. Then you're gonna lay over it. You can have one arm on either side, or maybe you're more twisted so you're on your side. You can also incorporate your prop here. So I'll show you this way since I can't move my prop. But you can show you with the pillow actually, just how easy this is. So I've got my big pillow here, and I'm twisted around, right, in deer posture still. My left hip is towards my prop, and I'm just going to lean against this way. Kind of like we did with the child's pose. So maybe your belly is in the way to come down, it just doesn't feel good, or again, maybe you're feeling dizzy or nauseous. There's always a way to modify these. So you can use your prop. Just take a few more breaths here. And then we'll do the other side. So again, shift, move, transition, however it feels good. It doesn't have to look good. So your right leg comes forward, so it's in a 90-degree angle. Left leg bends behind. Again, excuse me, it doesn't matter how close your foot is to your bum. And then you're going to move gently and slowly to your right knee, half circle in front. And back around. And again, taking your prop to your right hip, either laying down on it, right on the ground, if that feels good and you have the space, or again, using your lovely prop, you can prop up and just come to the side. And that feels just lovely. And it still gives you the sensation of opening up some space in your side body and in your hips. Take another breath here. And then we'll move to our last couple of postures. So I'm going to show you this one. I'm actually on my left side, but I'd like you to start on your right side first. Make sure you have a really good support for your head. You're going to come down to your side and make sure your bum is pretty close to your prop. You're going to bring your top leg, so it'll be your left leg, up to your prop and just rest it on. It doesn't really matter how. You're just creating some space actually in your pelvis here. And then we're going to do something called the Alexander shoulder stretch. There's two ways here. So first one, arm can come in front, up towards the sky, and then maybe gently behind you depending on your space, and back down. Or you can try hand on the floor and it goes around you. So think of that semicircle again. The hand stays on the floor. Around, up by your face, over top your head. It's still on the floor. So your bicep is smooshing your face, going along your face. Maybe it goes behind you and you can open up gently. If there's space, if you start to feel any sort of cramping, any sensations you don't like, just come back out. Just something to explore. One more breath here. And then again, take your time. Come out and switch sides. And really take your time. So maybe you have to come up to sitting, take a moment. Maybe you can just roll over. Being mindful of your belly, mindful of your core, using your breath as you transition. Back down to the other side. So now you're on your left side. Same thing, top leg, so this time it's your right leg up onto your prop. You're going to do it again. This time it's your right arm that's opening up. Back as far as it can go, as long as it feels good. Back around. And then again, if you want to try the semicircle on the floor, you can. That feels good. A few more breaths here. And then we'll transition into our final resting posture, Shavasana. And so I think the easiest way to do this is we're already on our left side. So if you have another prop, that would be great. Your options are you can stay here. If this feels really good, this can be your Shavasana. Maybe it doesn't, so you can bring your leg down and just gently shift over a little bit. And you'll bring another prop in between your legs here. And this is your Shavasana on your left side. Right arm can go wherever feels good. Maybe you can close your eyes again if that feels good to you, comfortable. And allow yourself to settle in for a moment. Allow yourself to slow down, connect in. Deep breath in, sigh it out. And again, go back to how do you feel? What sensations do you notice? Has anything shifted in your body? Shavasana is a beautiful time just to allow you to integrate your practice. No matter what that practice was, how slow, how grand, it's just a time to integrate. And I would argue rest is probably the most important part of any practice, because that's where the true healing and the shifting and changing and growing happens. So end your practice with a beautiful time to soften, to notice, and just to allow whatever is there to be there. Take another deep breath in. Sigh it out. Softly open your eyes. And slowly transition out. Again, being mindful, transitions are just as important. And thank you so much for sharing your practice. Namaste.